Well, joining us via Skype is a good friend of Catholic TV, Mike Reardon, to talk about the Catholic Schools Foundation, a great organization, and the upcoming 31st Annual Inner City Scholarship Fund Gala. Mike, thanks for being with us. How are you doing today?
It's great to. I wish I were with you.
I
miss
know.
being on the set.
I know. Isn't this is life now, right?
Next time.
This is what it is. Well, hey, and talking about that, it certainly has been a year that tested our resiliency. Tell us how this school year has been, and last year's Inner City Scholarship Fund, the first ever virtual gala.
You know, I'll tell you, as we're in the Passiontide and going into Easter, it really it's important to internalize that. And I think we lived it last year, right? We went from a period of excitement to all of a sudden the world stopped, and we didn't know what was going to happen. How were people going to respond? And I think what it really reminded us is that we are an Easter people. There's some pain, there's some suffering, but in the end, I think people do and step up to really live and follow Christ, which is to serve each other. And, you know, I was thinking of St. Therese and you know, holiness consists simply in doing God's will and being just what God wants us to be, right? And I think in challenging times, we're called to do that. So our dinner or event last year, I should say, we were fortunate that people stepped forward and they saw the extraordinary difference they could make in the lives of young people. And we actually had our most successful event from a financial perspective. So we were able to infuse an additional $1.5 million to help families in need.
Well, that's just amazing, Mike. Congratulations. And, you know, Catholic schools actually all across the country, but specifically here in the Archdiocese of Boston, received kudos from Governor Charlie Baker on the handling of in-classroom learning. And the teachers really are the heroes of this whole game, along with the parents. This year's gala, the foundation is honoring Catholic school teachers, and rightly so. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, Bishop. The teachers have been heroic in this. We've heard a lot of debate and dialogue about what's safe, what's not safe, how can we open. What our Catholic school teachers said was, what's in the best interest of students? How do we help students? How do we put students first? And that really is the hallmark of Catholic education. It's meeting students where they're at, understanding that they are all gifts from God and we need to serve them as best we can. And in particular, in the low-income communities, that has been so vital. Jay and I were talking off camera earlier about, you know, even in my own life, I have children who have been some hybrid or been remote, and my wife and I have the luxury of being able to work from home from time to time. How do you do that if you're working in a grocery store, if you're barely making ends meet and your hours are cut? How do you supervise a fifth grader? And our Catholic school teachers said, we owe it to these students and we're going to make it happen.
Now, that's funny. I thought you guys were talking about college basketball before the show.
Well, that was later. We were talking for a long time. Usually we talk for a couple minutes, but I know Mike, so we started talking and didn't stop until right before the show. Hey, Mike, for the past 30 years, the gala has had some great hosts, sponsors, and guests. What's planned for this year?
Well, this year is no different. And in fact, Ron O'Hanley, who is the CEO of State Street Corporation, is going to chair our event. And State Street Corporation has been with us for all 30 years. So it's an exciting Boston company that is stepping up with us this year. And you know what? We're really kind of keeping it simple because it's about the teachers and the kids, and we want to highlight all that's been accomplished by them, and we want to celebrate those teachers. And following that, we're going to have a special event as well, which I think we might talk about in a moment.
You know, I'm going to ask you to talk about the Catholic Schools Foundation is going to be featured on Chronicle, which is a great show on a network affiliate here in the Boston market. Can you tell us how people can watch and learn about the scholarship fund and support the gala?
Yeah, so if our gala starts on April 15th, which was supposed to be tax day, but everyone just got a month on that, thankfully. But on April 15th at 7 p.m., we'll have a program to learn about our work, and would invite people to go to our website, csfboston.org, to register. It's a complimentary event. We just want people to celebrate the teachers this year. And if they're in a position to support us, great. These kids need our help. But then at 7:30, we're going to tell some stories through Chronicle about, in particular, Lynn, a city that was decimated by COVID. And yet the Catholic schools in Lynn stayed live and in person the entire year. They made a difference in the lives of these kids, and we want the world to know that. We're also going to talk about not just what's going on now, but some students from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whose lives were changed because of Catholic education. I think it's important for everyone to see that.
Mike, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us, and hopefully next time we'll have you here.
I look forward to that time, and we'll talk basketball later.
We'll see you, Mike.
Have a great Easter, too.
Thanks.